Before we begin, I want to be clear about the contents of this video. On September 28th, we learned that the cards being released in the upcoming Secret Lair X The Walking Dead product would be mechanically unique cards, only available directly from Wizards, only for a limited time, and only to select countries. This video will not be about my opinion on the effects these cards could have on the game at large. Many other MTG personalities, all with much larger channels than mine, have put out or will put out videos on that subject. I do not believe that I could add anything meaningful that they have not already said. I share the opinion of most in the MTG community that these cards are a mistake, but that is not what this video is about. Instead, I took this opportunity to ramble on a bit about the greater Vorthos ramifications this Secret Lair drop could have on MTG as a whole, as well as its possibilities. What follows after this introduction will be an unscripted rant, my opinions on the cards in general. Please excuse the audio quality as, for some reason, it is 90 degrees in my house at the time of recording, so I have a large fan on for my own comfort. So, let us begin. You know, the problem with thinking you have your thoughts organized on a subject is when you know everything you believe you need to know and know what you want to say, but you can't find the words to say when you're on the spotlight. It is 11:30 at night. I am sitting in the most comfortable bed in the multiverse, and I'm about to talk about The Walking Dead. Alright, so by now everybody's aware of the situation. The whole 5 magic cards you can only get from Wizards of the Coast directly. I'm not going to talk about the effects of the game. I'm not going to give my opinion on whether or not this was a mistake. That's not what this is about. I've already given my opinion. I think I share the opinion of most of the Magic community. If you just look around, you can see that most people are pretty upset about that. No, I wanted to talk about the lore of the game, Magic the Gathering's story, for a bit, and the implications or effect that these cards could potentially have on the story. Now, I suppose I should set up some, groundwork. Alright. Magic the Gathering's story has, for the better part of 25 years? When did the Brothers War comics first come out? I want to say 96. Probably between 1996 and 1998. Ever since then, the Magic story has been all-inclusive. By that I mean every story-related segment has been canon. The Kamigawa books have been canon. The Ravnica novels have been canon. The original Ravnica novels, of course, and the Return to Ravnica novels, and the web stories for... I'm going off a spiel. The point is, everything has been canon. Now, prior to the 1996-1998 revision, there were some stories coming out, pre-revision novels, comics, etc., that were just kind of retconned out of existence. I think the dragon stuff the Elder Dragon stuff stuck around. So
for the better part of nearly 30 years, no, nearly 20 years, 20 plus years, nearly 30, exaggerating, we're not that old yet, for over 20 years, everything in Magic's story has been included in the overall plot. Everything's been canon. The only exceptions to that have been the silver-bordered unsets. You see, in black border sets, everything that takes place within a black border set is assumed by myself and presumably many others within the Vorthos community to be taking place in the multiverse, Dominia, whereas everything in a silver-bordered set is assumed to take place in an un-multiverse, a silver-bordered universe. Much sillier. Mark Rosewater clarified that a long time ago. Now, Mark Rosewater also clarified a long time ago as... Was it Mark Rosewater? I want to say it was him. I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of these details wrong, but I think the important parts will be accurate. Or at least I hope so, otherwise this is just going to be a long 15 or so minute rant video of me just being wrong. Oh boy. I believe Mark Rosewater is the one who said that Earth, our Earth, is not part of the Magic the Gathering multiverse. You're not going to experience characters like Jace planeswalking to Philadelphia. You're not going to have Domri Raid rioting in California. You're not going to have Nicol Bolas attempting to usurp control over China, as epic as that would be. It's been very clear that Earth is not part of the multiverse. Now, why am I bringing that up? Well, that's because the Secret Lair Walking Dead cards are special. Wizards of the Coast has done crossover sets before. We've had several, in fact I own most of them. First, at HasCon 2017, we got crossover cards in the form of Grimlock. I was very excited to get a hold of this card. Dinobot, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Grimlock is a robot dinosaur T-Rex that turns into a bigger robot guy wielding a sword. He is a Transformer, one of the Dinobots. He is all around awesome. In HasCon 2017, he got a silver-bordered card for the HasCon promos. He was one of 3 HasCon promos. 2 years later, we got My Little Pony Magic the Gathering cards, also silver bordered. They were Civil Water. They were I can't even remember. It was a charity thing. You could purchase them directly on the Hasbro web shop, I believe. And earlier this year, we got Godzilla cards. The Godzilla cards being black bordered, which was interesting, but the clarification was given that these Godzilla cards were not taking place in the Magic the Gathering universe, because they were simply overlays. They were alternate arts, special skins for existing Magic the Gathering cards, and not actual new Magic the Gathering cards themselves. This wasn't you summoning Godzilla on Ikoria. You were summoning, I don't know, giant T-Rex that was flavored like Godzilla, had a Godzilla alternate skin on Magic Arena. And now we have the Walking Dead cards. Now, the reason these Walking Dead cards are a point of discussion for the Vorthos in me, previously cards fell into 2 categories. Either they were silver bordered, and therefore, as far as I was concerned, not canon to the story, or they were alternate art overlays, like the Godzilla cards, which made their canonicity moot, since they were simply just alternate art skins for Magic cards. The Moth Mothra, for example, was still just Brood Moth. It was just a nice alternate art skin you could have to show off as bling for your Commander game or on Magic Arena. But these Walking Dead cards are neither of those previous examples. No, these Walking Dead cards, drink of water, are new. They are not silver bordered, and they are not alternate arts of existing cards. You're not playing as Zergo, Helm Smasher, dressed up as Negan. You are casting Negan. You are summoning Negan from The Walking Dead to help you in your planeswalking battle on Ravnica. And to me, that is an issue. It breaks immersion for me. You see, when Wizards of the Coast says Earth doesn't exist in the multiverse, and then gives us the ability to summon characters from not our Earth, obviously, but from a fictional version of Earth, it breaks my immersion a tiny bit. But at the same time, it also opens up a can of worms. The multiverse of Magic the Gathering is large. Now, it's possible that they could justify this by simply saying that there is a similar world out there that is very much like the Earth of The Walking Dead, but is not called Earth or what have you. They could come up with all kinds of justifications, but for me that won't really cut it, because these are characters from an Earth, and that opens up the possibility of other characters from an other Earth showing up in future Magic the Gathering sets. I do not believe that you should be able to summon characters from Earth, or an alternative Earth, or characters from an easily recognized, well, any, not just easily recognized, any IP, any pop culture, any series, video game, etc. Because for me, it does break the immersion quite a bit. Now, this opens up an issue of enjoyment from a flavor standpoint. It's amazing, as a planeswalker, to summon a giant elemental to your aid in fighting against another planeswalker, or maybe you've whipped up a swarm of the Eldrazi to rip apart your opponent's defenses. Maybe you've resurrected the dead to fight down anything that comes in your way, but alternatively, you could summon Negan from The Walking Dead, and your immersion is immediately broken. You are no longer a mighty sorcerer casting spells, summoning great creatures to your aid. No, you are a guy with a cell phone who has called up a character from a television show to bonk your opponent on the head with a bat. And it's not just The Walking Dead. I'm not even going to go with if. When Wizards decides to do more of these kind of cards, what will it be? Will we see outdated Marvel superheroes on Magic the Gathering cards? Could you summon Spider-Man or Wolverine? Could you perhaps, I don't know, call up the Rocketeer? Maybe we'll get a Nintendo crossover where you can summon Donkey Kong and Link. Bringing in outside characters breaks the immersion for me a tiny bit, and it really opens up the floodgates of Magic the Gathering no longer being its own thing, its own fantasy, its own story. You are no longer experiencing a story, the great battle between Urza and the Phyrexians. You are witnessing Negan from The Walking Dead bonk Donkey Kong on the head. And for me, I find that incredibly annoying. There are many reasons to hate this Walking Dead crossover Secret Lair, and I don't even think this story perspective is the best one. In fact, I think this is probably the last thing going through anyone's mind right now, the flavor ramifications of summoning Negan from The Walking Dead to swish a rat with a bat. I don't think anyone really cares about that, but I wanted to put together this video anyway to talk about it, to put my opinion out on just, I don't know, the story of Magic the Gathering. It's already in a very weak place. They only just started giving us web episodes back of new short stories on a weekly basis. Magic the Gathering's story has been in a very weak spot, and now you want to compromise it by introducing pop culture characters into the mix and saying, why yes, Jace could have fought Nicol Bolas by summoning Negan to hit him with a baseball bat. In all the absurdity that entails. Jesus, I'm so upset right now. My words are not even working right. I think that's the crux of it. I don't believe that these characters should be in Magic the Gathering. The Walking Dead is not a franchise of magic and dragons and angels and slivers and demons and Eldrazi. It's a show, it's a comic about some survivors fighting against some undead. It's about the social anarchy that erupts in a post-apocalyptic world. It's not about magic and wizards and planeswalkers and reality-smashing wars. It's about a guy with a gun trying to get his family out of Dodge and save them from the hungering undead, and that doesn't really mesh well with my idea of Magic the Gathering, and nor most people's idea of what Magic the Gathering should entail, from what I understand, considering the sheer volume of people who are upset about this. I suppose that's really all I can say on the subject. I don't think from a story perspective that these cards make sense. Now, many people don't think that they make sense from a gameplay standpoint, and I completely agree, but that's not the point. These cards break immersion in the flavor of Magic the Gathering, because you are no longer summoning a mighty wizard to aid you against a planeswalker. You are summoning Negan with a bat to hit a dragon on the head. And that just doesn't do it for me. So, this has been an unscripted rambling from MTG Lore Seeker. If you managed to listen to this entire... I'm probably going to cut out some empty spaces. If you listened to this entire rant, thank you very much. I apologize that this was not a less opinionated lore video. I do like to keep my channel as unbiased as possible, but for this subject, I believe I had to make an exception. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do, if you like the videos I put out, please consider sharing or subscribing. Liking the video, leave a comment below. I'm currently in the middle of trying to figure out what subject to cover next. If you have an idea, do let me know. Have a great day, and thanks again.